The Nielsen ratings have arrived for Marvel Studios' latest Disney Plus series, which they also decided to platform on Hulu. Echo, and they are atrocious. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. So, if you recall, back in January, Deadline's Justin Kroll wrote this article, headline Marvel's Echo premieres at #1 on both Disney Plus and Hulu. He wrote this, after making all 5 episodes available on Tuesday, Marvel Studios' Echo has premiered at #1 on both the Disney Plus and Hulu platforms. The series marked several firsts for a Marvel show, the first TVMA series developed at the studio, the first time every episode was available to subscribers at once, and the first time a whole Marvel series has been available on both platforms at the same time. So clearly trying to tout that the show was a success. It was the #1 on both Hulu and Disney Plus. Well, not so fast. We now have the Nielsen numbers. If you look at their top 10 Nielsen original programs chart for the week of January 8th to 14th, you see that Echo is down there in 4th. It got defeated by Fool Me Once, Reacher, which is releasing episodes weekly, The Brother's Son, which is a Netflix show, or I believe it's a Netflix show, might be a movie, Netflix program, I guess, and then Echo right there in number 4. And then Percy Jackson and the Olympians is there in 5th, and I believe that is releasing weekly as well. But Echo, with all 5 episodes releasing, it had 731 million minutes viewed. You might think, wow, that's a big number. It placed 4th. That's great. But you have to remember, all 5 episodes dropped at once. So there, and the way Nielsen tracks, they track viewership for the entire show. It's not just a single episode, etc. It's all 5 episodes, so it's the entire show. And so with that in mind, if you do a simple average and you divide by 5, that comes out to about 146.2 million minutes viewed. And my guess is, just like Rings of Power, people might have watched the first episode, but then they were like, no thanks. So I would wager that a lot of that might be front loaded with the first episode and people didn't continue. No way to know that at this time. Disney knows that. But regardless, 731 million minutes divided by 5, you get an average of 146.2 million minutes viewed. So that is likely the worst performing Marvel Studios Disney Plus show ever. And so if you want to look at what the other Disney Plus shows did, the Marvel Studios Disney Plus shows, you have Miss Marvel. It debuted on Disney Plus back on June 8th. I forget which year. But the first episode only garnered 249 million minutes viewed, according to Nielsen. She-Hulk Attorney at Law did not even chart on Nielsen's top 10 lists when it debuted. All we know is that viewership was below 395 million minutes. It's likely it was higher than Miss Marvel's 249 million minutes, given the second episode did chart at 390 million minutes. Moon Knight brought in 418 million minutes viewed when its first episode debuted on March 30th, 2022. Hawkeye did 853 million minutes viewed, but that was for a 2-episode premiere. So if you do that simple average again, it comes down to 426.5 million. So Hawkeye had 2 episodes, 853 million minutes, when Disney Plus subscriber numbers were significantly lower, did 853 million minutes viewed. Compared to Echoes at 731? That's how abysmal the show performed. WandaVision, the very first Marvel Studios series on Disney Plus, garnered 434 million minutes viewed for its 2-episode premiere. The simple average comes to 217 million minutes per episode. But my guess there on that too is you have to remember you're talking about million minutes viewed. So you're looking at how long was each episode when you're doing that. And I think those WandaVision episodes were like 20 minutes long. So you probably actually had a lot more people watching those shows than Echo, which I think probably is like a 40-minute episodes. 2023 Secret Invasion premiere only brought in 461 million minutes. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier's March 26, 2021 premiere attracted 628 million minutes. Loki season 1, which premiered back in June 2021, racked up 731 million minutes. So it did the same amount as Echo for just one episode. That's how awful Echo performed. And then season 2, which premiered on October 5, 2023, only garnered 446 million minutes. That's season 2 of Loki. So I think this calls into question Disney CEO Bob Iger's claim that the company's film and television programming have already improved. I think it says the opposite. It's gotten worse. This is your worst performing Marvel Studios show ever on Disney Plus, and it is the most recent one when you have the most subscriptions. Well, I guess not the most now because they did just lose 1.3 million subscribers, and 400,000 of those came from North America, the United States, and Canada. So I guess if you go back to the last quarter, they had the most subscribers. But around when they had the most subscribers to the platform, certainly more than 2021 when WandaVision came out. But this is what Bob Iger had to say during the company's Q1 fiscal year 24 earnings results webcast. Well, I guess it was last week. Might have been 2 weeks ago now. He was asked during the Q&A portion by one of the investors. The investor asked, "It seems like the operations are really starting to hum again, but I think the lifeblood of the company is always going to be the studio output. It drives so much culture. I think that's an area that you said you've been spending a lot of time on. Do you think the content is also turning a corner like we see in the operations? And if so, when do you think we might see some of the results of that for renewed focus on studio output?" And Iger said, "I feel great about where we are with the studio. Let's not lose sight of the fact that in the last year, the studio had some real success." It did not. It did not. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was its only success, and that success was marginal. They lost probably $1 billion in just films that they sent to theaters. Terrible. Nevertheless, he goes on and says, "Not to suggest that we didn't have some films that were not successful that we were really disappointed in, but we also had some great success in the Guardians sequel and Avatar in the end of calendar 2022, but part of fiscal 23. Iger then admitted, "One of the things that I've been saying before is that volume can sometimes be detrimental to quality, and our zeal to greatly increase volume partially tied to wanting to chase more global subs for our streaming platform. Some of our studios lost a little focus. So the first step that we've taken is we reduced volume. We've reduced output, particularly at Marvel. When you address these issues in movies, you do 3 things. You get aggressive at making sure the films you're making can be even better. Sometimes you kill projects you don't believe in. And of course, you put new things in the pipeline that you do believe in, that you have much more confidence in. And we're doing all of that." So I don't think that happened with Echo. They didn't get aggressive at making sure the show was better. And they certainly didn't kill it. I mean, it's just a joke. The guy's like just straight lies to people's faces. And then we have this stuff coming out like just a week to 2 weeks later, just putting egg right on his face. He continued saying, "I've also observed over the years that managing creativity is best done with great partnerships. And I have established great partnerships with the people at our company that really manage our creativity. Alan Bergman at the studio, Dana Walden on the television side, Jimmy Pitaro at ESPN. And the partnership that Alan and I have is a strong one. And we believe the time that I am now devoting to this and the attention that the two of us are giving this business not only will bear fruit, but it's already starting to." So right there, he says he's predicting that it's going to bear fruit, but it's already starting to. Echo proves that wrong. This is a giant loser. I guess it bore fruit. It just bore poisonous fruit or rotten fruit. I guess there's that caveat there, right? He then continued saying, "We're very bullish about the films coming out. We mentioned Inside Out 2, and we talked about Deadpool and the Planet of the Apes film. We feel good about that. And obviously, at the end of the calendar year, we've got Mufasa, prequel to Lion King. We're very excited about the addition of Moana, which was the #1 streamed movie across all streamers in the US in 2023 and has had over 1 billion hours of consumption in Disney Plus, and that's now going to be released in November." So he goes on to talk about the things that are coming up And then he concludes saying, "We're not resting on our laurels or sitting on our hands. We're working hard at it, but I feel quite good about the trajectory." So this is an utter disaster. I think the only way they save face on this, and they likely won't, just because it's a Marvel Studios production and they can't do what they did to Willow at Lucasfilm. I don't. What they should do is they should take that impairment charge, that tax write off, and just instantly remove Echo from Disney Plus, put it behind a vault, and get a tax break from it, because it's clearly losing them money. People aren't subscribing to watch Echo. It's the worst performing Marvel Studios Disney Plus show of all time. At a point when you have probably your second highest subscription in the United States and Canada. So you have to put that into perspective. Like it got beat by shows where you had less subscribers. How pathetic is that? And this guy is saying it's already bearing fruit. I mean, what an absolute clown. What an absolute liar. I mean, this company is a disaster. And one of the main reasons it is a disaster is because you have a guy like Bob Iger just straight lying to people, lying to investors about this stuff. And he knows what the ratings for Echo were at the time of this webcast. They can see that stuff. They know what it is. Netflix puts out their ratings like a week after the shows come out. They're pretty quick. They update their stuff pretty quickly. So Disney has that information. They know what people are watching. Sweet Baldface just lied to this guy. I mean, but joke's on them, because people are unsubscribing to their Disney Plus service. No one's watching their shows, and their theatrical productions are losing them lots and lots of money. I hope it continues, because this company engages in evil actions. They promote evil agendas. They promote evil ideologies, and they're led, I think, by a person who promotes all of that stuff. And I think we can call him evil too. But let me know what you guys make of this in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.